Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. As authorities continue to get to the bottom of anomalous flood control initiatives, parts of the Philippines suffered yet again from massive flooding due to a typhoon. To address questions over project inefficiencies and wasteful spending, one senator is proposing to have a long-term master plan for infrastructure and national development. Let's get on point with Senator JV Ejercito. Senator, good to see you again.
Yes, good evening, Pinky. Nice to be back here.
Thank you for your time. I just really want to start with Cebu. It was a bit of a shock. It was actually a shock to a lot of people, seeing so much devastation there due to the floods. Was there any, just looking at what happened, is it a flood control issue? Was it so much rain dumped in a matter of hours? Was it also high tide? Because we spoke to someone from also Cebu yesterday at sinabi nagsabay din kasi talaga yung dami ng ulan at yung high tide.
Well, actually, I think, Pinky, it's a combination of all. No? If you noticed recently, not only in our country, no, it's all over the world. And here, even in Cordillera, Mindanao, Visayas, Luzon, the amount of rainfall is really just enormous now, no? In so short a time. So it's probably because of climate change, global warming. But if had the flood mitigation projects been done more properly, the water would have been drained faster, no? And then sasabay pa yung high tide. So I think what happened in Cebu was a combination of all. Okay. Climate change, amount of water, amount of rainfall, high tide, and probably yung not effective flood mitigation or flood control projects, because I think there's really no master plan to speak of.
It's good that I actually have you today because while we see a lot of floods in many parts of the country, and we see a lot of roads na binubungkal, tapos merong pag bagong gawa pa lang na kalye, biglang mamaya sisirain dahil may gagawin naman silang poste o may ilalagay ng mga kable, etc. And I just say that because, quite honestly, I don't know what kind of master plan these people are following. Is there continuity, sir, from the previous plans? And are some drainage systems actually blocked because of infrastructure being done? So brings me to my point on, you have a bill called, it's called MIND.
MIND, yes.
M-I-N-D. It's a Master Plan for Infrastructure and National Development Act. As mentioned earlier, or MIND. I see the importance of this right now. It might not be very interesting, maybe to a whole lot of people kasi yung nakikita po natin na pang araw-araw. But this needs to be done yesterday.
Yes,
this needed to be done 10 years ago, sir.
Maybe 50 years ago.
Because, again, just one point I'd like to also bring up was that the DPWH already said in the past during a hearing that there was no master plan to speak of. So, kailan niyo po ito naisip? And what will this, what can happen?
You know, Pinky, I've been advocating transport modernization, infrastructure development for the longest time, no? During our past interviews. It might not sound sexy enough, interesting, but I think that's the way to do it. No? And I think that's what our ASEAN neighbors did 30, 40 years ago. Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and now even Vietnam, they invested heavily in infrastructure. No? That includes railways, airports, highways, electricity, dams, everything. They invested heavily on infrastructure development. And they promoted mass transit, railways, so that the movement of people and goods will be easier. So now they are already reaping the benefits, no, of having invested in infrastructure development. You can see in the foreign direct investments, no, because foreign investments would look at two things. Number one is infrastructure, and second is cost of energy. So in those two aspects, I think we are falling much behind our neighbors. So I've been I've been really pushing for infrastructure development, especially railways, airports, and others, so that we can play catch-ups.
This bill of yours, though, does this put everything together?
Yes, yes.
Kasi nung binasa ko po siya, it talks about not just infra, kasi when we talk about infra, sometimes we just think of roads, bridges,
Yes.
etc. But this also talks about transport, talks
Yes.
about energy, talks about water, housing, and logistics. Tama ba? Agricultural logistics?
Yes, that is correct, Piggy. Because, I think one of the reasons why we have fallen behind our neighbors is our political system. 3 years and 6 years. And I think most of our political leaders are looking at the legacy that they will leave behind. So, nangyayari short-term and medium-term ang planning and the programs. Nobody thought of the long-term. No? When you talk about, for example, railway system, from the studies, from the research, to the negotiations, for if it's an overseas development assistance, to execution, construction, implementation, you're talking about 20, 30, even 50 years total, no? Airports, the same way. Superhighways, the same way. So, Minky, my idea of pushing a master plan for infrastructure and national development, that all infrastructure projects, especially big-ticket items that fall under this, should continue and transcend different presidencies, no?
Different administrations.
Yes, different
Dapat may
administrations.
continuity.
Yes. That, for example, each president will have their own pet programs, projects, but the big-ticket items in infrastructure development has to be continuous and should transcend different administrations. So that's my first intent of the bill. But now, I think we will be hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Hopefully, we can play catch up with our ASEAN neighbors by having this, catch up tayo sa railway, sa energy, dams, airports. And because of this floodgate scandal, corruption scandal, one thing is for sure, we really need a master plan so that we will be able to prevent anomalous projects. No? Hindi yung, alam mo, may sinasabing may masabi, pero earlier you mentioned, may mga roads, newly constructed roads, will be demolished, sisirain, ayusin ulit, no? Minsan nagkakaroon map, no? Map project lang para alam na natin, no? Baka
para meron silang sabihin sa kanilang constituents.
Yes, also.
Pinagawa ko ito.
Yes.
Okay.
And probably if we talk about pag-usapan na rin natin yung floodgates, no? Anyway, it's very hot topic.
Flood control.
Flood control. 350 billion pesos a year is the budget for flood control projects for DPWH. That's 1 year. That's 1 billion pesos a day.
A day, yes, that's right.
So I think most districts would want to have a piece of the 350 billion. So lahat sila kumukuha nagkakaroon din ng flood control projects. It's so easy, Pinky, no? If you prioritize the top 10, for example, top 10 provinces, supposedly the bulk of the projects for the flood control, the bulk should go to the top 10 flood-prone provinces. So what happens is every district would have
a piece of the pie.
A piece of the pie. So nangyayari, we end up with slope protection, revetment, drainage improvement, and I don't think this will really solve our problem. For example, Central Luzon, Pampanga, Bulacan, and Metro Manila, North Metro Manila, it's a basin. What we need really to solve this, year in, year out, we have, di ba? We have investigations of the flooding. Kailangan natin dyan floodways, no? Yung mga big floodways, spillways, water impounding, no? Yung mga dams. So that, every rainy season, we have lots of water. But every dry season,
we don't have water.
Tayo. So, these are all water management, big-ticket items that need to have a master plan as well.
Okay, first of all, who's going to do this? It's a 30-year plan, right?
Yes.
Your
30,
bill.
50 years, yes.
Let's put it at least
Yes.
30 years.
Yes.
This should be followed by every administration na wag na
That is
po
correct.
sana nilang galawin.
Yes.
Sino ho ang mangunguna dito sa master plan?
Well, supposedly for the master plan should be siguro now DepDev, no, formerly NEDA. They're the economic planning office. They should spearhead, and then the execution probably it's the OTR, still DPWH, the OTR, and I'm also proposing the creation of a Department of Water Management. Now that all things about flood control, all things about water management, about dams, should fall under this department because, water is getting scarcer every day. And I would think that we need a full-fledged department really to handle water management para hindi tayo naubusan, no? Year-round, no? So that's my proposal. And so if it's a national project, dapat wala nang pakialaman distrito para, we can
Hindi
go
mo
through
ba
with
pwede
it.
wala na lang talagang pakialamang distrito? Because anyway, that is not the job of a congressman, neither is it the job of a senator. Di
Yes,
ho ba?
that
Your
is
job
correct.
and their job is to enact laws.
But sometimes, that's part of the job, no? Also, sometimes local governments, provinces would seek congressional intervention. For example, they have an important project that they want to propose, but as long as it goes through the proper process, we can help them. No?
I understand
we can
that,
make
sir.
amendments.
And with all
yes.
due respect, I do get that. But if we keep saying that we can do that because a mayor is asking help from a
Yeah.
congressman or a mayor is asking help from a senator, the problem will persist.
Yes.
Its ugly head will just keep
Yeah.
coming out.
No, but I'm saying, but whatever is would fall under what would be classified as a national project should be continuous. Kumbaga, wala
And should
na
be budgeted in the NEP.
Yes, that is
Dapat
correct.
sa NEP pa lang nandun na siya.
Before, I remember when I was in Congress, Pinky, for one term in House, we can propose projects if it's requested for the district for local roads, barangay, multi-purpose buildings. But for national projects or national in scope, dapat wala kaming say doon. That was what was the process before. But now, it seems that naging open eh.
May say kayo.
So that is
May
why I am proposing and pushing this. I think this is very timely to, again, two birds with one stone. We play catch up with our neighbors by fast-tracking the infrastructure, the needed infrastructure. And at the same time, all projects we will prevent anomalous projects because dapat lahat na sa master plan. So if it's a national project, no other district or local should intervene.
Quick question on that. If that actually happens, and if it's a national project, there should not be any intervention by any politician. What about the roads that will, pag-usapan muna natin daan, the roads that will actually lead to a national project.
Yeah.
Could there be a problem there as well? Kumbaga, itong bahagyang daan na ito ay kailangan gawin ng lokal at humingi ng tulong from whoever politician.
Yeah.
How do you bridge that and make sure that there's continuity between that particular project, small project,
Yes.
and a major national project?
I think this will also solve that problem. No? If everything is according to the master plan, at least yung mga, even if it's local, at least it will, kumbaga, feeder roads, no, going to the national roads. Dapat lahat talaga coordinated. Hindi yung propose lang yung, for example, a politician, road, basta lang magkaroon ng kalye, but or drainage, yung
Yeah.
problema, yung flood control. If it's not coordinated o hindi siya
I think, sir, kasi parang
that's what the problem eh.
the better
Yes.
idea really might be the local government suggests to the national,
Province first and the regional.
regional,
Yes,
and
yes.
then to the national.
Yes.
Para po everything is in
Coordinated.
sync
In sync,
and
that is
coordinated.
correct. So I think that's what's happening. Yung sa flood control, every district has their own. Ang nakakalungkot doon, Pinky, minsan hindi pala siya in sync, no? Hindi magkakadikit.
Yeah.
That's why, that's water.
Yeah.
Pag hindi dikit-dikit yan, hahanap talaga ng butas. So, if you have a master plan, for example, yung national master plan, yung mga regional, local, has to be in sync also with the main master plan.
And we don't have a master plan. Not just the DPWH, sir. Wala. Because I do recall, just before we go on a break, that during the time of Pinoy, I believe it was Secretary Babe
Babes.
Singson who actually said there was a master
Yes,
plan.
there was.
But you were
Yeah.
they were 6 years there.
that is
And
correct.
then that should actually transcend to the next administration,
correct.
pero hindi daw napansin sa susunod na administrasyon. Kaya po naging problema. So this, if it is enacted into law, you don't have a choice. The
But
next
to follow.
administration has
Yes.
no choice but to follow
And
it.
I'm happy also that you mentioned the former Secretary Babe Singson when I discussed with him about this and showed him the draft, and I asked for his
Inputs.
inputs, no, but unfortunately he became busy now with ICI, but he was so excited, and he even mentioned that, you know, this might be
Okay.
one of the keys to solve all of these problem and prevent yung mga anomalous
And very
projects.
quickly, sir, did you even bother to look at the master plan during the Pinoy administration? Baka pwede pa po din yun tingnan.
Yes, I think it will just need to be updated.
Updated,
no?
yeah, all right.
But what is important, if we have a master plan, of course, from time to time, it needs to be updated if there's a change of plan, whatever. So I would still
All right.
really push for it. And now, a lot of people now are having, even my colleagues, are having interest now with this particular measure.
We'll be taking a very short break. We'll continue our discussion with Senator JV Ejercito when we return. Stay tuned. This is On Point. Welcome back. Still with us, Senator JV Ejercito. So we're talking about not just roads. As mentioned a while ago, sir, we're also talking about railways, transportation, water, electricity. So this is almost like a dream master plan for the Philippines. What kind of interest do you think, or is there any other bill right now in the Senate that wants a master plan looking at 30 to 50 years beyond?
Well, some of my colleagues also filed a similar measure, no? But Picky, on my side, because this has been my advocacy, I presently sponsored and authored already the PPP code, no? Yung Public-Private Partnership Code, just last year, because it will help, hopefully we can get investors, no, to invest in infrastructure development. So this will also supplement this measure in case it gets passed. And I think, if I may also mention, that, you know, this is not only for convenience, not only for infrastructure, this will also provide jobs and opportunities in the long run. Because, for example, a railway system. Now, if you develop a railway system going to all the way to north, to south, Mindanao railway system, all the provinces, that there will be a railway station, and it will become a growth area. No? Magkakaroon dyan ng commercial areas automatically, what's this, industrial parks, industrial estates, food terminals. So each province will have a growth node or a growth area. And that will mean jobs and opportunities that people also will not have to all go to Metro Manila, Cebu, and Davao. We will be able to spread out the development and create opportunities in the provinces as well. So ang daming if we
Multiplier
only
effect.
Multiplier effect if we only follow a master plan.
And the thing
really
is, it's
invest
almost
in
common
infra.
sense, sir.
Yes.
It's common sense, and yet
Yeah.
we don't have anything.
That's the sad
At
part
hand.
about it. That,
All
you
right.
know, it's really frustrating to hear that they will say that there's no master plan. No? And I think if you go in other countries, Pinky, you can see from atop, you can see how well planned cities are. Kikita mo yung mga streets, everything, because they really have a master plan. And I
Right.
hope that there's still time. Whatever wrong, we can correct it, no?
Okay.
And, by having a master plan.
And whatever wrong, when we see all the flooding, when we see
Yeah.
all the corruption, sabi nga nila, galit ang tao. Piece of news today, the lawyer of former Congressman Zaldico, Attorney Rondain, says that it appears that Zaldico will not return to the country because he is, and I quote, deathly afraid due to a serious threats to his life. What would a non-comeback of Zaldico mean to the investigation or to the flood control scandal?
Well, I think he will be a critical figure, no, in all of this mess. And I think flight means guilt. And if he's really not guilty, he has to come home. No matter if there's death threat. What really happened, Pinky, is really frustrating. I understand the wrath, the anger of the people. I think this is the biggest corruption, scandal, scam in the history of our country, no? And I think Zaldico is one of the principal figures or the proponents in the House, and probably it was a collusion between the proponents and the DPWH officials of Bernardo, Alcantara, Bryce Hernandez, and company. So it's the first time we hear of projects being offered to legislators or whoever wants at a price.
For a fee.
For a fee. So talagang nilala ko yung proyekto. So
all this time that you were a congressman, mayor first,
Yes.
congressman, a senator, this is your third term, if I'm not mistaken, or is it second?
Second term.
A second
Yes.
term, sir. Has this been the worst that you've heard, seen of corruption here in the country?
Definitely. This is the worst that I have seen. Projects being sold, no? You hear about all of these ghost projects. First time, naririnig mo, nilalako ang project. Kung gusto mo, you pay 25, 30%. It's just too much, no? I would say they really went overboard. Those people who were part of this scheme.
What are your
Insatiable greed, I would say.
insatiable greed?
Yes.
What are your expectations sa pagpapatuloy po ng Blue Ribbon Committee hearings with Senator Ping Lacson coming back? And I'm gonna have to bring this in because he left then because he was saying that some of his colleagues didn't like the direction that the Blue Ribbon hearing was taking. And I know for a fact that you were one of them because I saw an interview of yours. Hindi ka po masaya doon sa hearing, di ba? Because I know you said, nalilihis yung usapan eh. Parang napupunta sa mga senador.
Yeah.
Yun po yung inyong pakiramdam noon. Were there any regrets that you said that? The Senator Ping left for one reason or another. I don't know if that was the sole reason or one of the reasons, but what are your expectations now? And how do you intend to see this moving forward?
Actually, just to be clear, no, Senator Lacson and I, we've had a good relationship, respect with each other. In fact, before he resigned as Blue Ribbon Chair, we were communicating. I was suggesting on who he should request or ipatawag niya. No? I even requested other districts. Kasi sabi ko, masyado na itong Bulacan. There are equally notorious districts that we would want to investigate. Yung si Pakanan, si Mindoro is equally notorious. So he said, yes, tama, sige. So we were communicating. Nakakalungkot nga, Pinky, because what came out is that I caused daw. One of the causes why he resigned. Now that he's coming back, ako rin daw yung cause. So, but
no, but you admit you weren't happy. Because you said it during an interview. Paglabas niyo po ng Senado, the media caught you and sinabi mo, hindi ko alam, of course not in these exact words, but hindi ko alam saan napupunta tong investigasyon na to. Nalilihis na. Actually, yun yung ginamit natin salita.
If you look at the Blue Ribbon Committee, I think I was really consistent. Because if we really want to prevent an occurrence of this kind of scheme, we have to know the modus, no? And I was concentrating on, of course, on what Bryce Hernandez, Henry Alcantara, no, they did. And I think we were quite successful in pinpointing. Nandun na tayo sa proponent yung funding.
Sabihin niyo na po, nandun sa mga congressman, hindi ba? The congressman.
Yes,
okay.
Because wala naman sa aming contractors, di ba? So we were already, I really wanted to zero in on that, no, yung scheme, so that in case, in aid of legislation, we know already what to put yung mga safeguards, no, so that this will not happen again. Ang nangyari kasi, I think the most guilty, the most guilty, we already have an idea. But siyempre, if you name senators, no, for the sake of argument, sabihin na natin least guilty or it will catch attention kasi Senate yan eh. But the ones who are most guilty, Pinky, not to defend my colleagues or the institution, you don't hear about senators selling, offering projects, no, at a fee. Walang ganun sa amin eh, no. There's no contractors, no. There no contractors.
But do you have friends who are contractors? Diba? Could there be senators who are asking for projects?
Well, I think what really differentiates the Senate is that I admit that we have what they call insertion, but now amendments sila because insertion now is such a bad word. But amendments. That's why we have budget hearings agencies always present to us because they have a proposed proposed budget before the start of the year, and then the Department of Budget and Management only approves this much in the National Expenditure Program. So we go to the hearings, no? So we will ask what projects, programs will be affected by the budget cuts. So we will try to make amendments, especially for health, for example, my advocacy, for transportation, of course, others,
Sure,
education.
I don't think that, that's one point. No?
Yeah.
I think the problem really here is during the BICAM. Yun naman talaga ang pinag-uusapan doon. Ano ang in-insert in the BICAM? Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Just very quickly, though. The hearings will proceed next, I think by November 14 or November 15 under Senator Ping Lacson. The ICI has recommended the filing of charges before the Office of the Ombudsman. Certain personalities, kasama na po doon ang ilang mga senador, Senator Joel Villanueva, Senator Jinggoy Estrada. You know, everyone knows you're not, you know, the perfect brothers, you know, dito po. Pero how does that actually make you feel that, you know, he is being recommended to the Office of the Ombudsman for filing of charges?
Well, I guess they just have to face the music and defend themselves, no? But in case we go back, again, I would like to go back to the pick up where we left off. Hopefully, we can already pinpoint who are the most guilty, no? And I think it's so easy, PK. What Congressman Toby Tiangco and I are close, and he has shown me already what he presented.
Parang
no?
USB niya.
Doon pa lang kitang-kita na eh. No?
And who is it,
per
sir?
district. No? Per district, you can see that there are certain districts that are favored. No? For example, 1.5 billion, 1 billion yung NEP nila approved. And then after GAA, it will become 16 billion. It will become 20 billion. So there are districts that you will see that it will all of a sudden, after GAA, it ballooned. So I think yun lang mga district na yun ang tignan natin. We will already find how they did the modus already. So, and find who really are the most guilty.
Who is the most guilty for you in the House of Representatives, sir?
Well, I think it's really Saldico, as what Congressman Toby Tiangco said, because he's the appropriations chair. And I would think that yung ballooning of this budgets in each district was because of him. No? So, and Pinky, I think whatever happens, what we really need is certainty of punishment. No? Dapat may managot, dapat may makulong, so that the trust of the government, trust of the people will maibalik sana sa gobyerno. But walang natatakot, walang nagtatanda. So again, certainty of punishment, those who really are guilty should really face the music and be jailed.
Senator JV Ejercito, sir, pleasure to have you. I hope to have you again. I was hoping to discuss with you the Emma Atienza bill, and of course also the ethics complaint filed against certain senators, because you are the chairman of the ethics committee.
But that very difficult committee.
We'll have to wait for another time. Maraming salamat kay Senator JV Ejercito. That's On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.